Welcome to the Clear to Send podcast, a podcast about wireless engineering, where we educate you on Wi-Fi technology, talk about design tips, troubleshooting, interviews, and the tools. Here are your hosts, Rowell and François.
Hi guys, welcome to a brand new episode of the Clear to Send show. I'm here with Rowell this morning. Hi Rowell, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very good, very good. So we're here today to talk about Mobility Field Day. So they're having a new one organized actually next week. It's going to happen. It's going to take place from August 14th to the 16th. And we just wanted to give you guys like an overview of first of all, what Mobility Field Day is all about, and then give you an overview of what's going to happen during the event, and I guess give our expectations for what we would like to see happening during this event.
Yeah, exactly. This is going to be a great event because I've been to the previous Mobility Field Days, and this time around, you are the delegate.
Yeah, I'm very excited to be going for the first time. So you've been doing the first ones, and this time around they invited me to go. So it's going to be my first time. Very excited for it. And if you look at the list of people that's going to be a delegates, as they call them, that's going to be attending, it's going to be quite exciting to spend some time with them. And also the list of companies presenting are pretty good for this event as well. So I'm very excited to be participating.
Yeah, you're with a great group of people. I think they couldn't have put together a list of delegates that it's going to be perfect for this event. It's going to be an exciting event because you've got a lot of people in here who have really strong opinions and a lot of great thoughts. So I think this Mobility Field Day 4 is going to be an interesting one with the companies that are presenting.
Exactly. So, Rowell, you've been there. Like, how would you define a Mobility Field Day? Like, what type of event is it?
Yeah, it's different from a lot of the events we typically see around the industry. Mobility Field Day 4, which is just specialized for anything mobile, like wireless, for example. And they bring together a group of people in this room where these companies present their either their latest products or their best flagship products, and try to get some feedback from you guys as the delegates. And also for people like me, for example, I'll be watching. I'll be able to submit questions, and you guys can also take those questions from Twitter as an example, or from Facebook, and also present those questions to those presenters. So there's a way that the crowd can interact, the viewers, that they can interact with you guys, the delegates. And that's going to be your purpose there, is to be the voice of the people and also get the word out on social media for the followers to watch and pay attention and try to participate in this conversation.
Yeah, it's very interesting, and especially for the vendors as well. They pay a lot of money to attend these events, and I think they put a lot of time preparing for what they want to present, and sometimes they even keep specific new features, especially for this event, so they get to present them to the audience, to the delegates, and get their feedbacks. And then reuse the medium that Mobility Field Day is offering, the live feed and the YouTube videos to present their new ideas.
Yeah, I would agree. There's going to be some companies who like to come out with new features or new products during Mobility Field Day, and I think that's going to be really cool to see if that happens at this event.
Yeah, I guess that would be one of my expectations for this event. Like, we're in this industry every day, every week. We do our podcast and we try to follow what's going on. So I would be really pleased to just learn something new, right? Something we haven't heard before. Mm-hmm. And that would be really exciting. So talking about the delegates, we have 12 delegates this year, right? I think half of them are new. Like half of them will be their first Mobility Field Day, which is quite exciting, I guess, for everyone. So we have Dave
Yeah,
Benham.
I think
Sorry, Rowell.
I want to say he's done it before.
Oh, maybe Dave has done one before. Dave was attending
that'll be
the
his first
Cisco
one.
event with us, which kind of looked like the same.
Yes. Yeah. I think you're right. That is going to be his first mobility field day.
So Dave will be there, and then Hayden from Andrews from Australia. I think he's the one that's coming the longest way.
Yeah, that's quite the far trip to Silicon Valley.
Yeah. Then we're gonna have Jake Snyders. I'm sure Jake attended mobility field days before. Then we're gonna have Jennifer Minella. I actually don't know Jennifer, so I'll be very pleased to meet her at the event. Then we'll have Jonathan Davis. He's been to multiple mobility field days or tech field days event. Then we'll have Keith Parsons. He probably went to all of them, right, Keith?
He's been to multiple events, and he's great to have at these events.
Oh yeah. Then we'll have Lee Badman. So yeah, Lee is also usual. They probably have their seat with their name already.
Well, they'll have your name there too, François.
Yeah. Then we have Manon Lessard from Canada. I guess she'll be coming from Canada just like me. Right. Then we have Sam Clements, Scott Lester, Tim Dennehy. I'm hoping I'm saying his name correctly.
Yeah,
and
I
then
think
myself.
you got it right.
So,
and Tim's here from the Bay Area as well.
Yeah, so very, very exciting list of delegates. I'm sure we'll have a lot of fun together, and I'm sure, like you said, a lot of great questions will be asked. And hopefully we ask the right questions to the vendors to, to trigger good answers.
Yeah, and I think with this group of people, you will get a lot of good questions, knowing that I've been in the same room with these guys, and I know they're not going to hold back.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. All right. So talking about the companies presenting, who do we have this year? So obviously it's called Mobility Field Day. So most of the companies are, Wi-Fi related or have like Wi-Fi products to offer, whether it's, hardware or software. So we have Aruba. Aruba is presenting this year. We have Fortinet, Aruba Fortinet. They've been, I think, on the previous one as well. And then MetaGeek. MetaGeek is presenting this year. They haven't been to Tech Field Day or Mobility Field Day for only a while, so I think everyone is excited about MetaGeek. Then we have Mist, and we also have a secret company, so no one knows who they are yet. They like to have a little bit of mystery.
I'm always a fan of these secret companies because it always sounds like someone who a company that's been in stealth mode and is going to come out of the covers here and announce that they've been working on something really, really cool. So I think that's going to be a great reveal at Mobility Field Day. For MetaGeek, the last time they were at Mobility Field Day was when it was called Wireless Field Day, and they were at multiple wireless field days. So that'll be interesting for them to figure out what they're going to talk about. What's new that MetaGeek is going to come out with and announce to everybody.
Yeah, and I think we'll spend a little bit of time talking about the expectation we have for each vendors, but MetaGeek is definitely an interesting one. It's kind of like a comeback for them, right? So we'll see how they do and what they have to offer this time around.
They've refocused themselves as a company, and I remember they were at Wi-Fi Trek, and they did have a presentation by Ryan there, the CEO, and maybe they're going to talk about. My guess is going to be the mobile spectrum analyzer, and hopefully something new. So maybe also their new version of channelizer, possibly. That's something I would expect. But definitely, I think they'll talk about their mobile spectrum analyzer.
Yeah. It's kind of like the new product this year. In terms of expectation for the overall event, I do have a couple of expectations. First, I'm expecting a lot of talks around Wi-Fi 6, 11AX, and how it's implemented by the vendors, right? That's really what I'm interested about, right? We've heard a lot about the theory, Wi-Fi 6 is great, it's going to solve all of our issues, but I actually want to know exactly, which feature of the draft the vendors chose to implement in their new Wi-Fi 6 access point. I'm expecting the vendors to talk about their Wi-Fi 6 access point technologies and cool stuff they're doing with it. So I'm expecting a lot of talks around that.
I'm expecting the same thing because Wi-Fi 6 is kind of what everyone is really looking towards. And at this point, with all this hype around Wi-Fi 6, we'd like to see a little bit of meat to that conversation, right? We want to be able to see something in action other than saying we have Wi-Fi 6 support. We'd like to see things like OFDMA working in action. Maybe there's going to be some live demonstrations of how this works. Maybe the AP and the clients there in the same room. So hopefully that's something that they're able to do live on video.
And what I'm hoping to is, for the delegates that have a Wi-Fi 6 phone, I know Dave has one, I have one. Maybe we could just try to trigger OFDMA and try to take some packet captures and then share some of our experience as well. I'm not too sure. We'll see what happens, but we'll have multiple Wi-Fi 6 devices there, right? So we could do something.
For sure. And hopefully I will get to see that as you guys try to challenge the vendors. And I suggest, Francois, that you try to challenge them and try to hold them accountable and honest to some of the features that they're coming out with, and maybe some of the conversations that they're going to have with you.
Yeah, and I like this event because you can go deep technically. Like you have the engineer in front of you, so you can actually ask technical questions, and they should be able to answer you.
Exactly. And some of these companies, it's not their first time at the rodeo. So they will come with technical experts, as they should, because they're coming in front of a technical crowd. So they should be prepared for some of these tough questions, because these are the things that we want to know as implementers, how these products work and what is it that we should expect out of them.
Exactly. So Wi-Fi 6, obviously, I'm expecting a lot of talk around that. I'm expecting a lot of talk around AI, especially because Mist, they're coming back, and every time they come, I feel like they give us an update on how their AI is doing. And they've talked about the fact that it takes a little while, a couple years, for the AI system to to settle and take place and become more I guess, become more intelligent. So I'm expecting more talks around that, and how other companies are also, I know Aruba, they're starting to talk about that as well. So I'm expecting some talks about AI as well, on top of Wi-Fi 6.
Yeah, I would probably be in the same boat as you, Francois, looking to see what Mist has an update on AI, because I think they were the only ones using AI in their solutions. And from earlier this year, we heard Aruba mention that as well. Theirs may be a little bit early, but I'd like to see a comparison as to how they're both implementing it. What are the differences, and what do they actually solve, other than it being this buzzword that everyone says they have, right? Everyone says they have AI, but what does that mean? What does that do for us? And how can we take advantage of it?
Exactly. And maybe we have some idea, maybe us, the delegates, have some ideas to share as well on how we could use AI to make our work easier on a daily basis as well. Mm-hmm. And then, talks around, the ways to ease the monitoring configuration of Wi-Fi networks. I think, I think it's been a trend with the previous mobility field days. Vendors try to present ways to do things easier. How can I make the engineer life easier by helping them to configure, monitoring, troubleshoot Wi-Fi issues, Wi-Fi networks? And I think we're going to see a little bit more of that this time around too.
I think you're correct there. I'm gonna side with you because nowadays wireless is super complex, and the monitoring and configuration part tends to kind of put on the side, right? Because so many of these companies are focused on new features. I would expect maybe Fortinet to step in here and really display how easy it is to deploy a wireless network and how easy it is for them to monitor it for you. And so that's what I'm expecting out of Fortinet.
Yeah, me too. And I've used Fortinet, equipment, and they could offer a really good all-in-one solution where you can just install, deploy in a couple of hours and be done with, and be able to monitor in the cloud and stuff like that. So I guess we'll see what we'll see on that at that end of things. And then also I would be expecting to hear about new product and new solutions. Mobility Field Days, like I said, is a perfect event for this company to show what they've been working on. And usually they're very excited about that, and the delegates are very excited about that as well. So it's like a win-win situation for everyone.
Yeah, I think the new products and solutions everyone always looks forward to, especially at Mobility Field Day. And I think with this new secret company that's going to be revealed at this event, I think the industry is kind of primed for somebody new to come in and simplify things because of all these acquisitions happening, right? There's not too many independent wireless vendors out there. I know of possibly two, which don't play such a big role in the industry, but they can if they start to fill these needs that people have, because these companies are focusing too much, I think, on the bells and whistles. One thing that I believe is a pain for a lot of people is going to be cost and licensing. So maybe the secret company can come in and solve that problem.
So let's keep the secret company for the end. You're doing a little bit of teasing, and let's spend like 5 minutes per a company, and then try to talk about what they could present. Okay, do some speculation there.
Okay,
because why not, right? So let's start with Aruba. So Aruba, I think that's my speculations. I think they're going to be presenting something around the Wi-Fi 6 access point, maybe do some demos. We've seen on Twitter, some demo of OFDMA working on Aruba AP, so I'm expecting to see the same thing during Mobility Field Day. Hopefully they get to show it live to everyone, and they get to show it off to the world and to the delegates. So I would love to see some real world, OFDMA, or even the other features of Wi-Fi 6 that they support in the access points. And on top of that, I would love to see if they can share some Wi-Fi 6 deployment they've done with customers, some real world Wi-Fi 6 deployments. Mm-hmm. Also, I'm expecting them to talk about their cloud-based solution. They've talked a lot about, how they improved Aruba Central, and actually refreshed the whole interface of Aruba Central. So I think they're putting more emphasis in this solution. As you can say, it could solve the licensing complexity issues. If you can just, provide a, monthly or yearly price for the equipment, and everything is handled in Aruba Central. And Aruba Central works really well with their instant product for, smaller deployments. So I'm hoping they'll get to present their new product and how everything works with their new Aruba Central. Maybe give us like the preview of the new features around that product. And then finally, I'm expecting them to talk about, ClearPass, and they've been talking a lot about using AI with ClearPass to better identify the devices on the network, and better do security with IoT devices and things like that. So I'm expecting them to talk about that as well.
Yeah, I'm also looking forward to OFDMA. I mean, we saw it on Twitter, so I'd like to also see that in action. Maybe you should bring your sidekick with you and try to capture that over the spectrum. Yeah, so I think that's going to be really interesting to see, especially if they can do a deep dive of how they're implementing OFDMA. I know their different types of APs support various resource units, so they're not all the same. And that would be interesting to really understand why that is and which APs those are. And then my interests will also be around Aruba Central. What's new with Aruba Central, and how is it maturing over things like other vendors' cloud management platform? So Aruba Central for me is going to be a big one because I have clients that use Aruba Central, and I'd like to see more stability and also some features to help people out with multiple like distributed offices and having multiple sites using Aruba Central.
Yeah, definitely, and how they can make it simple for these customers. Yeah.
Yep.
So that's Aruba. Then it's Fortinet. So Fortinet, don't really know what to expect from Fortinet to be honest. So Fortinet is known to be like a security company, but they acquired Meru a couple of years back, and they also do have their own Wi-Fi product that they call the 40 APs. The thing I could think about is they've been acquiring Meru, and they've been supporting the single channel architecture for a couple of years now. But now, what the question I have is, are they still gonna do it in the future? We've heard about them stopping supporting single channel architectures. So it's really the end of it. And then second thing I'm thinking about is maybe they will come and present new Wi-Fi 6 40 APs. I haven't heard about any Wi-Fi 6 product from them yet, so maybe that's what they'll be presenting.
I think they're going to end single channel architecture. I think it's been discussed previously through Mitch Dickey, who has been using single channel architecture for the longest time at where he works. And I believe they are going to talk about Wi-Fi 6 APs. But what I'd like to see them spin this on is how security is going to play a bigger role with Wi-Fi and how they can solve the security problem. That's going to be my expectation of Fortinet coming into Mobility Field Day 4. But that's what I'd like to see is how can you use a single vendor with Fortinet and the strength of their security portfolio and also secure Wi-Fi at the same time?
Yeah, it's a good point. And, one of the big focus of Wi-Fi 6 is IoT and being able to support a lot of IoT on your network. So maybe they can, center it around securing IoT devices as well. Next is MetaGeeks.
One thing that we didn't even talk about, there's also OWE and WPA3. So whether or not Fortinet will talk about that and or Aruba will be a good one.
Yeah, that's actually a very good point because and also MFP, right? If you look at the Wi-Fi Alliance certification lately, you notice that they're trying to implement they're trying to force the vendors to implement some security mechanism into their new Wi-Fi 6 stuff. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like related to one another because of the Wi-Fi Alliance certification. Yeah. So yeah, that's a good point. Maybe we'll hear about that as well. Didn't think about that actually.
Yep.
So, okay. Next is MetaGeek. So MetaGeek, like we say, it's exciting because it's kind of like a comeback for them. So very exciting to see what they have to offer. So they don't come every time, so they obviously have something to offer, right?
Yeah.
So like you said, they have their Wi-Fi, Wi-Spy Air solution, which is their more portable solution of a spectrum analyzer, Wi-Fi analyzer tool you can connect to a smartphone. I think you tested it, right, Rowell?
Yeah, so I do have a Wi-Spy Air, which we do plan on having an episode around it. So maybe that's when we, after Mobility Field Day 4 and after MetaGeek Speaks, maybe we'll also include that Wi-Spy Air into an episode to talk about like what are the pros and cons of using Wi-Spy Air, and maybe they're going to come out with new features for this as well.
Okay, awesome. So probably spend time talking about this. And then I think the big focus will be around IPA and how they're evolving the product. We've seen some tweets from Ryan Woodings from MetaGeek on Twitter around IPA and him working on IPA. So everyone have their own speculation on what's going to be happening. Is it like a new IPA for macOS? Because a lot of people have been asking for that, or is it like a live IPA where you could do live analysis? So yeah, a lot of people are excited about that and speculating. So I also have my expectation for IPA. I really hope they ported it to macOS because I don't use Windows anymore. And I use Wireshark for wireless analysis, and IPA could be a good help actually. So let's see what happens.
Yeah, I think
there.
IPA can definitely make that comeback because it's a visual analyzer, right? And there's not too many tools that will visually help you solve a problem, especially if you're not an expert when it comes to analyzing Wi-Fi and analyzing frames, bringing up the most important frames that may be relevant to what you're troubleshooting could be like a really good solution. And that screenshot that Ryan shared kind of shows that. And it's funny because I can also see like he's working on some code in the background too. So looks like he's testing a few things live, and I think it'll be interesting to see what the final solution will look like.
And we'll put the links in the show notes, right? So you guys can go and look at the tweets. There's actually a picture that he took. He's like waiting at a doctor office and he's working on some stuff, and you can see some stuff on his screen.
In the United States, that's the DMV, to renew his driver's license. And
that's a driving license. Sorry.
Yeah, nobody likes going there, so I can see why he would bring his packet analysis tools.
Oh my, yeah, and you can see you have the name of his files. It's like BSSID details view. Yeah,
he shows quite a bit in the screenshot, so you can kind of assume what he's going to talk about at Mobility Field Day 4.
Yeah, so MetaGeek definitely, and then Ryan is a very nice guy too. Very, it's like an entrepreneur type of guy, I think. So it's going to be exciting to have him. Hopefully, he's going to be doing the talk himself, and then sharing the passion he has for the tools. IPA, I love the visual of IPA. That's a tool, especially if you're doing consulting services. You can actually use the tool to explain some things to your customers, some behaviors. You can include screenshot in a report, and it's very nice looking. So yeah, it's definitely it helps you out to visualize some concept and then present that to the customer. So I love that about the tool. All right, so that MetaGeek. Next is Mist. So Mist is coming pretty much every time around, but since the last time they actually announced their Wi-Fi 6 access points. So once again here, just like for Aruba, I'm expecting to see some real life action, real life demos, maybe OFDMA. Same thing, we've seen it on Twitter, shared by Rob, some OFDMA action. He didn't say what's coming from the Mist AP, but we can guess.
But that's obvious. Robert used to be a delegate, and then he ended up working for Mist. So now he's on the other side of the table, and I will be expecting him to actually be presenting. And since he shared out the screenshot, which looks like OFDMA to me, I don't see why he'd be sharing it anyways, right? Especially with how the screenshot looks. And then he tagged Mist in that photo. So I think the obvious thing here is they're teasing that they're going to come out with an 11AX AP at Mobility Field Day 4.
Exactly. And then on Twitter, Wes Purvis also shared some packet captures, and Wes has been to presenting at the Mobility Field Day before, and he's a very technical guy as well. So I'm expecting a lot from him as well. Maybe they can share some of the testing they've been doing. Maybe they can share some. I mean, Mist is notorious to sharing some of their use cases with customers, so maybe they can share some of that as well.
I would find that Mist likes to overshare. They share a lot of things within the company, which is good. You get a good insight. We'll see if it's the same way after the Juniper acquisition. So hopefully they'll be able to still share a lot of these details with how they're testing Wi-Fi 6, what are the challenges they're running into, and when is it coming out.
Exactly, and that's actually one of the topics maybe we'll be talking about is how can the merge empower the company, empower Mist to do greater things, and I'm sure the delegates will have some questions around that, because we haven't seen Mist since they've been acquired by Juniper earlier this year. Other things I'm interested about obviously is how the AI is doing. So you've talked about it on the show with Bob last week. On how the AI is progressing. And he talked about Marvis and all of those good things. So if you guys haven't heard the episode, you can go back and listen to last week's episode where Rowell interviews Bob Friday. And they talk about AI. So I would like to see where it stands today, and then maybe their plan for the coming year on that piece. And then the last point for Mist is I would like to know about the growth outside of the US, because I know they're coming to other countries. They've been coming to other countries lately, and I would like to know how they're doing outside of the US.
Yeah, I mean that would be good to see how their growth is, and are other countries, other companies internationally picking up on what Mist is offering. It'd be good to hear some of that growth.
And finally, we have the secret company. Right? We could register a company called Secret Company.
Maybe that's what they're called, Secret Company, yeah.
It's like Elon Musk created the Boring Company. We can probably create the Secret Company.
The not-so-boring company here to knock your Wi-Fi socks off. We'll see who it is. Do you have any guesses, Francois? Maybe we can play a game here. Who do you think it's going to be?
Seriously, I don't really have any idea. Like, it could be a vendor, or it could be like like outliers, like a software company or something, or some company we've never heard about, or like a startup company, So on the vendor side, like people have been asking for Ubiquiti, but I don't think it's going to be Ubiquiti. I don't think that's where they focus their marketing money.
Yeah, I mean, then Ubiquiti has some new stuff coming out over their unified products, and I don't see why not. Right? They can really talk about some of the their latest access point, which supports 10 gig Ethernet. That would be interesting to see. But it is 802.11ac, so I'm not sure if they still want to talk about AC. But the fact that they claim they can support 10 gig. If Ethernet support on their AP and also this 1500 client association limit, an 802.3 BT power injector that's included. I mean, they're doing some interesting things that's different from the rest of the industry, and they've got their own suite of software tools like Spectrum and Wi-Fi packet analysis, which would be an interesting discussion for a mobility field day.
Yeah, and their products are very popular.
Yeah, they've got they got a large following. Yeah.
Yeah, so it would definitely be interesting. I'm not sure it's gonna be, that's what they want to do, but maybe one day. Hopefully it is. If it is, that would be great. That would be great. If it's not, maybe next time around. The other vendor I could think about is Everest Networks. So
why do you
they've
say
been
that is,
creating
François?
solutions for large public venues mainly.
Okay.
And they have this cool antenna technology. And I actually got a demo yesterday of their dashboard, and it was quite impressive. They've been working on it for 2 years, they told me. And it's quite impressive in what it can do, especially if you support, large events, stadiums and convention centers and places like that. It's quite impressive what you can do from the dashboard. So Everest Network, that would be awesome to have them to talk about their antenna technology, talk about the dashboard and everything. So we'll see if it might be too early for them.
Yeah, I do think they offer something very unique because they do focus on large public venues. Their hardware, their access points are very different as well. And they have a lot to offer. And I think Mobility Field Day would be a great place for them to announce that to everyone and really show how they're distinct, right? And how they offer a solution to a very specific problem.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see if they show up. Do you have any ideas?
I think it's going to be a software-based company.
Okay.
That's where a lot of the focus is nowadays, right? A lot of vendors say the hardware, everyone uses the same hardware. So the only way to differentiate yourself is through software. And so I think it's going to be a company that's going to offer something very different in terms of using software. Maybe I don't know, I'm just going to throw it out there. Maybe a white label Wi-Fi solution.
Okay. Do you have any names?
No names. No
names. All right. Yeah, I mean, if it's a startup and something we haven't heard about, I'll be all in for that as well. Always happy to hear about new things. Software company, that would be awesome.
Yeah, indeed. And I think we should probably say it again. The Mobility Field Day event is going to be August 14th through the 16th. You can use hashtag MFD4. You can find the website at techfieldday.com/event/MFD4. François, you are a delegate this time around, your first time being a delegate. You are going to have a great experience at this event. I really enjoy the Mobility Field Day event, and actually any event that Tech Field Day puts out there, because they have multiple events in different verticals or different topics. So I think you're going to find that this is going to be a great way to expand your knowledge and also to network with not just the other delegates, but also the presenters.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. And I'm very excited about it. Something else we need to mention as well is the event will be live streamed. So if you have some time, you can just follow the webpage that Rowell just gave you. We put the link in the show notes, and then you should have a live stream from YouTube there, and then you can just live stream the event, and you can interact with all of the delegates. In the show notes we put the Twitter handles of all the delegates. You can interact with them, and you can ask questions to the presenter through the delegates as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an interactive event as well, if you want it to be.
Yeah, indeed.
All right, Rowell, thank you very much for your time. So we've been obviously I'll be at the event. You can follow all the other delegates on Twitter, and you'll get some activity on your Twitter feeds for sure during the event, and you can follow it along with us. And then after the event, you and I will probably do a debrief episodes on the different vendors and what they presented, and we can give our thoughts. Spend some time giving our thoughts. Maybe we can interview people from the vendors as well, if they're willing to come on the show as well.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll be paying attention. I'll be asking questions, and from here on out, I'll be having my Wi-Fi and my coffee.
Awesome. Wi-Fi and coffee. Good mix. All right. Thank you guys for listening. If you want the show notes, cleartosend.net/180. Feel free to share the episode with your friends on Twitter and internet. And then until next time, have a good week. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.